G'day viewers, welcome to another edition of the Footy Show. G'day Crawls.
PT, how are you?
Very pleased to be here, mate, as always. How about yourself?
Oh, excited. It's nice and warm. Can smell the cut grass. It's finals time.
Yeah, it's a time when every young man, young woman, footy lover, their mind turns to finals footy. It's what it's all about, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And it's been a big day here on the North Coast. We should just put out the disclaimer. Today's Footy Show is filmed in front of a live studio audience.
Absolutely.
We've had a big day here in the North Coast office. We've had the legend Charlie Sue Frail. We've had the fantastic Sarah Larkham, and we've had the superstar Jacinta Houston, who's still here with us. It's almost been like Charlie's Angels here today, mate.
Better than Charlie's Angels, mate. It's been great.
So anyway, mate, as you said, we're up to the finals time. All kicks off tomorrow, being Saturday, depending when you're watching this, viewers. So Saturday out at CEX Coffs International Stadium. For four fantastic games of senior grade footy.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone's busting to get out to the stadium because it's such a great surface, and all the other grounds in the competition have been rock hard like concrete for the last month or so with no rain. Personally, I pulled up very sore after my last run at Fitzroy Oval, and I know a lot of players I've been talking to are feeling the same. So everyone's really keen to be back at the stadium. I
did hear that mentioned this morning on the better half of the Crawlers and Moffy breakfast show.
Thanks, mate.
So anyway, out at the stadium tomorrow, first game, 10 a.m,
Yep.
First cab off the rank, and all of these games obviously are 1v2. This is for a spot straight through the grand final. Obviously the loser does get a second chance next week in the prelim.
Yep.
But our first match to get us underway, under 17s, Port Macquarie Magpies with the Coffs Harbour Breakers.
Yeah, it should be a great game, I think. They've been reasonably evenly matched. The Breakers have been sort of getting better and better each time they've played them. Only went down by a few goals last week down at Port. Look, it'll be really good. We've got Ben Gibbo and Kai Wilson that played in the under-17 state team, if you like, last week.
Yes.
Back both for their respective clubs, so that's really exciting. It'll be interesting to see whether Kyle Davis plays. He missed last week with concussion, so it'll be interesting to see if he plays this week, because he's very, very good off halfback, great running athlete, and it'll be interesting to see whether he plays.
Yeah, a few question marks, I think, over a couple of Port players. Could be a bit light on this week. So, that could be the key in some senses to the game. Yeah,
but I'm really looking forward to it. It should be a great game.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next match, 11:50, is our women's game. So, opportunity, obviously, our first year of women's competition. First chance for a team to be the first team into a women's grand final here on the North Coast.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I'm imagining Port have done a fair bit of coaching and thinking about how they're going to try and stop Kira up at full forward there for the Saints. She's obviously, I call her an elite kick. She's fantastic. First game I ever saw her play. Went and saw her after the game and said, "You're playing full forward in the rep team." She's a very, very good goal kicker. She only got to get the ball 6 or 7 times and she wins the game.
Yeah.
So it's just trying to stopping her getting the footy, I suppose.
Yeah, I think the only mistake you made that particular day, mate, was I think you forgot to introduce yourself first, because I do remember looking at you going, who is this lunatic and why is he approaching me about a rep team?
Yeah.
But no, you're absolutely right. But I mean, I guess, what we found out a couple of weeks ago when Kira had another commitment at a Pink concert.
Correct. Priorities.
Casey Wickalotto just slotted in at full forward.
Yes.
And just casually kicked 6.
Yeah.
So, I guess you don't want to put all your eggs into one basket in terms of stopping Kira. You've got to pay due attention to some of the other gun players for Sawtell, including people like Alana Hansen and, as I say, Casey as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
Certainly Port. These two teams have played a couple of cracking matches already this season.
Absolutely.
Port knocked off Sawtell down at Wayne Richards there, got them by 2 points in an absolute nail biter.
Yep.
And then I think the next time they faced off, it was a draw between the two teams. So this match could be absolutely anything. And with Cambridge McCormack, Amy Fu, a number of players there for Port Macquarie who are superstars in their own right. This
should be a great
price
game.
of admission.
Yeah, absolutely. Britt Hargrave's still away, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think she's still over in New Zealand skiing, perhaps. But she's back for the next couple of weeks, depending on what happens. So but it should be a great game of women's footy. Really looking forward to that. First ever final.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great stuff. Which then will lead into Resi's at 120. So reserve grade Port Macquarie, who I think have only lost one game for the season. So have obviously been the form front runners. And a number of guys I noticed potentially on their team sheet listed there. A couple of interesting inclusions, like a Luke Boxall, the Box. like Sam Johnson, I noticed was on the team list as well. So obviously those guys have played a few games up and down both grades this year. So it'll be interesting to see how they line up and whether some of those guys take their place or not up against Coffs Harbour Breakers. And obviously, team led well, coached beautifully by Timmy Heather, who loves it every time we give him a plug on the Footy Show, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, mate. Yeah, and I've heard a rumour it might be his last hurrah. In terms of this is his footy, might be just Masters after this year. Wow. So I think I got a feeling that might be the case. Don't hold me to that, mate, but it's a little whisper I might have heard. So it'll be interesting to see how the Breakers go. I know.
So the boys will be doing it for Timmy.
Absolutely. I know that the Breakers have got a good lineup for tomorrow in the seniors. So certainly any players that are and being seniors and reserves playing on the same day, anyone who doesn't make the senior team can play reserves. So Absolutely. Once again, the Breakers reserves team should be a good strength reserves team as well. So it should be a cracking game, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, be another one to really look out for.
Probably be well umpired too, I think.
Oh, look, I would imagine so, mate. Who else is doing it?
I don't know.
Right, it's all about me, if I know. And then, of course, the main game of the day tomorrow, seniors, local derby, Sawtell and Breakers. So Sawtell only dropped 2 games this year, but interestingly enough, dropped those 2 both to the Breakers.
Yep.
And the last 2 times they met as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and I guess that's as Breakers' team has got stronger and stronger, as guys like Brett Vella, who had a late start to the season, Royce Close, who was playing out in Alice and playing a little bit in Sydney as well, have come back into the team. The team's got stronger and stronger, and they've beaten the last couple. And with a formed team until last week, 6 straight they won, then went down to Port Macquarie and got done by 70-something points, I think it was. Yeah, they did.
So, had a bit of a horror day down at Port Macquarie, apparently. Kicked
until...
into a 10-goal breeze, a bit like Koch for the Tigers going back a few years. I think it was 48-0 at quarter time. So, and just had players down on the day. So... it'll be interesting. Look, I think both teams will have good, strong teams in, and everyone's available for finals because who doesn't want to play in the stadium?
Absolutely. So
it should be an absolute cracking game of footy. I think with obviously the loser getting another crack at Port next week, it should be a super game. Yeah.
So in the words of the great Molly Meldrum, do yourselves a favour, get out to the stadium tomorrow. As I say, gates open from 9, first game at 10, seniors don't start till 2:50.
Yep.
$10 for adults, $5 for under 18s, under 12s free for a full day's entertainment. Can't ask for more than that, mate.
Won't get better value anywhere for entertainment.
So that's Saturday, and then Sunday we move on to the juniors, who are a week ahead of the seniors, so they're already up to prelim finals. So we've got all of our prelims up at Grafton at Elm Oval this weekend.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic for the Tigers to have a big day of finals footy up there, and they've got 2 teams playing as well, which is great. So under 11s, we had Nambucca Valley Lions keep their undefeated season going, and they've got through to the grand final, which is great. It was a really competitive game against Northern Beaches last week, apparently though. So that's really looking forward to that. And Port White have had a great year, so they will take on Northern Beaches up at Elm. To get that chance to play against Nambucca.
Yeah, and so that match will start an hour later than our normal starting time for under 11s, and then everything else will shuffle back as well by an hour, just to give Port time to get up there. But yeah, like you say, Northern Beaches very good last week. Port White have had a fantastic second half of the season. So again, that should be a classic battle to see who plays off against Nambucca Valley Lions in the Granny next weekend.
Yeah, absolutely looking forward to it. And then 13s, Grafton got the home ground advantage there, playing against the Breakers, who went down to Port last week and had a great win, beating Port Macquarie.
Yes. Went down as in travelled down and got a win.
Correct.
Not went down as in lost. Yeah,
that's exactly right. Went down, travelled down, had the win. So that was great for them. So they'll go up to Grafton this week and play the Grafton Tigers. So it'll be a big effort for them to make the grand final if they can, travelling to the home ground of the teams they've played both weeks of the finals. It'd be a great effort if they could do it. Grafton finished on top of the ladder. It's a great competition, the under-13s this year. They did finish on top of the ladder, but went down to Macleay Valley Eagles last week. So Macleay Valley into the grand final, and sort of Grafton, hoping that the home ground advantage and a better performance can get them through there for another crack at Macleay.
Yeah, and they'll certainly be smarting. They knew they were in for a tough battle against Macleay Valley, but would have been looking. I think would have been half expecting a win there, so they'll be looking to put what they think, put it right and do the job and get into the grand final. So, and then bit hard to call it an upset. Macleay Valley beating Grafton, and probably equally as hard to call second place Grafton Youth Girls knocking off the Breakers Youth Girls, and there was only one win the difference between the two teams. They were super evenly matched, but certainly second got over first. So Grafton Tigers into their second straight grand final, looking to go one better in 2018, which means that our match this week in the prelim is Coffs Breakers, the reigning premiers, up against Port Macquarie Magpies.
Yeah, so it should be a good game. Port have been going pretty well, improving through the year, so it'll be an interesting to see how they go against the Breakers. You certainly would expect the Breakers to win, to get another crack at Grafton in the grand final, which would be the same teams as last year.
Yeah, but as you say, mate, I mean, Port this year probably started with one of the younger lineups in the team, in the comp. So both Breakers and Grafton had a number of girls sort of at the top end of the age group there, whereas Port were more towards the bottom end. And you've certainly seen how much they've grown and developed and improved over the course of the season.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't put it past them. They're certainly on an upward trajectory, shall we say?
Absolutely, mate. I like it. Very good.
Thanks,
and then the under 15s with Sawtell winning last week, they go straight through to the grand final for the following week. Grafton and Bello, who've had some really really good battles. I was lucky enough to umpire one out at Bello late in the season, and it was a really good game. Good skills, really competitive, and look forward to seeing how it goes again on Sunday.
Yeah, and Grafton really took it to Sawtell last week. Sawtell have been undefeated side. They've won most games pretty comfortably.
Under a couple of goals, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was a really close game. Real tensions were high. So Grafton, I guess, will be their backs will be up. They'll be excited. They'll be up and about as a result of that result. And then obviously they're at home, which will give them an extra boost.
Yep.
And then like you say, Bello had a week off, but they'll know there'll be jobs ahead of them, but they'll lift, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. So it should be a cracking game of day of footy up at Elam Oval. As you say, 10:30 start with the under 11s through to the 13s, youth girls and under 15s. Do yourself a favour, as Molly would say, and get out to the International Stadium tomorrow in Coffs for Saturday, and then Sunday up at Elam Oval.
Yeah, if you're anywhere in the vicinity, if you love your footy and you're anywhere in the vicinity of Grafton, get down to Elam Oval on Sunday. Before awesome games of junior footy. It's where our future is at. So come on down and get behind the kids.
Well, that will have a great weekend, and see a lot of the viewers out at the International Stadium tomorrow.
See you, viewers.